Okay, Joyita, I think you should let people in and we'll get started.
Yes, ma'am. I'm just letting people in.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. And I'd first of all like to extend a very warm welcome to all of you who are joining us here, who are watching as we stream live on our YouTube channels of both Toolbox India and Shopmatic. As part of a very important week in the calendar, in the social development space, which is the joy of giving. It is my absolute pleasure and privilege to welcome Shruti Agarwal, who has very kindly agreed to join us this afternoon. And before we introduce the topic, I'd like to introduce the organization and a little bit of a backstory about how Shruti came to be here this afternoon. Shruti represents an organization called Shopmatic, co-founded by a very, very dear friend of mine, which is based out of Singapore. And correct me if I'm wrong, Shruti, Shopmatic is a B2C platform, if I can use that word. And the co-founder, Anurag Avala, and I have over the years stayed very, very connected on the work that social impact has always been about. He has constantly championed Toolbox, and one thing has led to another. And it was through a very interesting conversation with Shopmatic, where the whole concept of social commerce was something that was introduced to me for the very first time. It only made sense that we could take this to a much larger, wider audience. Shruti Agarwal is the Director of Strategic Partnerships at Shopmatic, is a founder of a nonprofit organization herself, very committed and driven about social impact, apart from what she does in her day job at Shopmatic. Shruti has been educating people a lot about the fundamentals and what social commerce is all about. And in the times that we are in today, where everything is driven digitally, I think Shruti will definitely have a lot of insights and useful takeaways for all of us. It also comes at a time when nonprofit organizations have constantly wondered, Shruti, about how they need to take their merchandise, their products across wider audiences. And I always say that COVID has only exacerbated or accelerated the pace of digital transformation across everything that we do. So thank you very much for joining us this afternoon. And over to you, Shruti.
Thanks, Vijaya. Thanks for the introduction and thanks for having me here. It's been an honor to be the part of this session and to represent what Shopmatic is, and also to help people who want to enable their business in online space. I'll give a small brief about Shopmatic and what all we do, and then moving to the digital commerce piece. So Shopmatic is a Singapore-based company. It's a SaaS platform which enables any individual who wanted to do online business. While onboarding on Shopmatic platform, you can sell through Facebook, you can sell through WhatsApp, you can create your own web store, you can sell on marketplaces. So that's the entire ecosystem piece that we do have. The other part of it is the platform is completely DIY. So, you don't need a technical person to work on the platform. If you know how to handle WhatsApp and Facebook, you can actually create your own web store. That's all about. The platform also works on different models. So there is no larger capex to it to start anything in online side. So that's another piece to it. And I think DIY and no capex is kind of USP to Shopmatic. I manage partnership of India for Shopmatic, and that's where we kind of aligning with more associations and talk about what is the importance of online actually is for an individual, because that's where people are scared of building their business because they think the capex is too high. They need to have a technical person to do this because they don't know what exactly is required in terms of building an online store or enabling different channels like selling on Amazon or selling through WhatsApp. And I think today agenda is all about that. How simple, how, what all things are required in order to enable that, and how feasible it is for a person when they're thinking of coming online. So let me, should I start the digital piece to it, Vijay?
Yes, please. Please go ahead, Shruti.
Sure. So I will share my screen. I need the access to share my screen, please.
Vyoma, Joyita, could you just help out Shruti by giving her access to share screen?
Yeah, we've given the access.
Thank you. So basically, I have created a small deck to help you out and understand the digital.
Shruti, I'd also request you to speak a little bit louder. Yes, you're slightly soft.
Okay.
Thank you.
So can you hear me now? Okay. So what is digital commerce or e-commerce? First of all, we need to understand that buying and selling of products or services over the internet is what e-commerce is all about. The second thing is, when a person is thinking of coming online or creating an online business, what all documents you need, which is a company registration, GST registration, bank account, PAN number, shop and establishment, which is a local authority license, labor welfare fund, ESIC, which is employees state insurance, and TAN number. These are the documents that you need to build an online store or to build an online enabled store. What do you sell? Obviously, you need something to sell in the platform. So you need products and services to sell. Again, on digital commerce or online is not only about selling products online, but it's also services. So for example, if you buy tickets or if you book a slot from a salon or from a doctor, that's also a sort of digital commerce that you do. Who are you selling to? I think this is something which is very important, even when you're thinking of creating a product line to sell in online space, because that's something which connects your products to the customer, to know your customer for sure. So know your customer persona. The first thing is, who is your customer? And according to that, basis on the category that you have, according to that, you sort of create a customer persona. For example, if you're selling baby clothes or, baby products, then obviously the primary customer will be all moms who fall under 21 to 40 age categories. Secondary is obviously fathers and families. So those kind of sorting you need to do in your mind, and that kind of strategy you need to play. How can your company help the customer? Is your product really solving a problem? Like, for example, if you see earlier, there were not many baby products available in the market. But if you see in today's world, there are a lot of brands who have come up with a lot of varieties in baby products, and they're pretty good. So that means there was a gap in the market which these brands have filled in. So are you really that brand who's actually solving a problem? So if you see a gap in the market, you can actually create a product line around it and reach out to the customer. Why are they interested? This is again very important. You need to create a value through your product. Why a person will be interested in buying your product? That's, I think, one question we all should ask to ourselves whenever we're thinking of creating a product line in itself. Because are you a quality focused, are you a quantity focused, are you what kind of advantages customers are getting, or what kind of offers you can throw? So those are some interesting points to look at. How will you reach them? Again, the marketing part to it. Customer is everywhere through social means, through device means. So that these are the customers, and how can you reach to them? That's another part to it. Where do you sell? What are the different modes of e-commerce, which is chat commerce, social commerce, web store, and marketplaces? What is chat commerce? When the moment you start engaging with the customers through chat, that is known as chat commerce. Now, what are the important aspects of chat commerce? Content marketing on WhatsApp is all about timing. You can't send messages on WhatsApp, especially the promotions, every time. You need to define what is the right time to send any message on WhatsApp or any engagement that you want to do through chat. Spam or not, again, this is an important factor to consider. You should not, the frequency of engaging with the customer should not be too much so that they actually make you spam. The best days for different content, it's like it's for example, Monday is not a good, ideally not a good day to shop. It's more about people who want to gather knowledge, people want to know about what's happening, current affairs. Thursday is a good day for tips, and probably Saturday is a good day for shopping. So those kind of things you need to keep in mind and engage. Know your customers, know the right tone. You can't be formal through WhatsApp. Because it's something where you want to connect with the customer. That's like, you can use a lot of emojis, you can use decent message tone. So those things you should keep in mind. Social post or newsletter, you need to choose a format, because newsletter has again a different format. Social post, like we do engage with the merchant, with the customers, and the kind of engagement that we get, you need to select the content on the format of it. Text length, is it too short to understand what is the messaging all about, or is it too lengthy to read? So it has to be a balance of it has to be a balance of short and engaging as well. Recover and abandon cart. So abandon cart is something when a person is buying and adding the product to the cart and not buying. So you can use chat commerce to enable that, and maybe you can give some discount to recover the abandoned cart. Maybe you can say to your customer, hey, you have not bought from us, do you are you looking for an additional discount? Please apply this coupon, maybe try to avail 20% of discount, something. Notify the customer that confirm the customer's order. So all the event triggered notifications, like your order has been shipped, your order has been confirmed, your order has been dispatched, these kind of notifications can also be triggered through WhatsApp. Create a positive user experience. Chat commerce, you can also have chatbots to be implemented on a chat commerce. Now, the tricky part to it is, do you want the chatbot to only reply, or you want a personal touch? So there might be some questions which the customer is asking, and the chatbot is not able to answer. So in order to do that, you can actually create a personal touch by replying to the right answer that a customer is looking at. Ask for a product review. when a person is shopping, what kind of experience they get, what kind of product review they have. You can even use chat commerce to do that. Why I'm not going into what chat commerce is all about and more into how you can enable this, because this will give you more clarity how to use chat commerce overall and what are the advantages and its importance to it. Social commerce. Adopt social media platforms that best suit your brand. When you think about creating a product, you need to think what kind of platform in terms of social media works for you. Not all platforms are capable of doing or are appropriate to do the branding that you're looking at. For example, if you are a fashion site, or if you are selling healthy bites or quick bites, then you need to look at what kind of platforms you should use. Like Facebook and Instagram are the most appropriate platform to build your Facebook shop and Insta shop, and also use for social post, etc. So that's why you need to pick the platform that best suits your brand. Put out quality content and stay consistent. You need to work. So social media is all about content and visuals, is all about engagement, is all about what kind of post you are doing, what kind of consistency you are having. It's not about doing post whenever you want. You have to be consistent. No one is saying that you need to do a post or something on a daily basis. No one is even saying once in a year. If you have a bandwidth issue and you're doing once in a month, stay consistent on that front. Make sure that you're posting something on a weekly or a monthly or a daily basis, whatever suits you. Use interactive content in social media posts. Interactive as in, you should know what kind of traction people are looking at. So for example, when you create a post or when you create a campaign, the social media also gives you the interest level of the traffic that they have or the audience that you're targeting. So just understand your customer persona and try to create interactive content accordingly. Use visual contents. If you if you see, social media is all about visuals, and if you're just putting the content, it will simply not work. You need to use visuals in your content. Put your branding on all visual content. Again, if you're putting something, any banner or any creative without brand logo, that is something people will not remember you as a brand. But if you are adding your brand logo with the content and all the visuals, then people will remember, oh, this is of this brand. Oh, this post is of this brand. Not just by looking at the content, but also looking at the visual. Use hashtags. Whatever the trending hashtags are and are relevant to your product, brand, you need to use those hashtags. Engage on social media. It's not just posting on social media or something, but also engaging with the people who are commenting on your post. Engage on your post, engage with expert post. If you think you are a fitness brand and there are fitness coaches around, they have their pages, and if you think there's something relevant, you can actually engage on those posts as well. Those kind of things you can do through social media. That's give you a little discovery, and whatever the traffic coming on Facebook, basis on their interest, the traction can divert on your brand page. Conduct giveaways and contests. So you can create a lot of quizzes, contests, just to engage the users who are following your brand. Try influencer campaigns. That really works, because influencers have a lot of followers, and by creating these influencer campaigns, you can actually target their followers to know the brand, to get some visibility. Monitor analytics. Unlike offline, in online, I think this is the most important piece of the entire online, that you can measure every performance through analytics. You can actually see which channel is working, which channel is not, which campaign is working, which campaign is not. If you're creating a campaign on social media and you know that this target audience is not working, you can actually tweak your campaigns basis on the analytics that you get. What is the conversion on your site? What is the conversion on your post? All those things you can actually monitor through analytics. Webstore, when you think about a product, especially, you need to also think about the pricing. What kind of pricing works better? For example, if your product falls under 500 to 2000 range, you can expect volumes. Again, you need to think about, you want to create, you want to play a volume game, or you want to go into niche where you're kind of creating a quickie products and have a high price point and just going to niche. Then in that case, you should not be expecting too much volume, but you will get repetitive purchases because the engagement of those customers will be quite high. Now, web store, optimize your web store. When you think about creating your web store, you need to think about how the UI UX has to be. So user interface and experience. In today's world, I think anyone who has purchased even once from Amazon knows what user experience is all about, or UI is all about, because we know how easy it is to use or to do a checkout from Amazon. There are a lot of options available. There are a lot of payment gateways. There are a lot of sellers available. And when a consumer comes to your site, you are no exception. They have the same expectation coming from you, which they have from Amazon. So, and they don't want to compromise on the experience front. So you need to make sure that your web store is accessible from all the devices. You need to make sure that your web store has a good UX, so less clicks and reaching out to the cart page to check out. You should make sure that you have more payment options. You need to make sure that your actually site has all search engine optimization and search engine marketing tools available, so that you can track everything, you can target all those things, you can target the right market, right audience, everything. Make it easy for your customers. It's all about, do you have low shipping? Do you have more payment options? Are you charging more charges in order to have shipping or anything? Or maybe do you have proper discounting code? So those kind of things which, you think as a customer, you want that. First of all, you need to think as a customer for your brand, like why I should buy a brand. And then you should, target the same thing with the customer. Harness take care of your image. When it comes to e-commerce, I think product image and product catalog plays an important role, is a key factor, in fact, because that's where they understand what the product is all about. When it comes to web store, it is no different from what you get an experience from going to a brand store. So the way you go to a brand store, you have a discount section separate, you have categories like men's, women's, kids, you have a billing counter separate, you have a promotional, or you have different mannequins, wearing some sort of bestsellers. It's the same way you need to think about your web store. So you need to have a web bestseller section. You need to have a proper billing checkout option. You need to have a proper category structure. You need to have products there. It should not be, blank showcases. So those kind of things you need to take care of for sure. Harness the power of email marketing. Email marketing is one tool where you can target new customer as well as engage with your existing customer. If the segmentation of email marketing is done properly, for example, if a person has bought probably, menswear, and you want to target additional products, or maybe any new product coming in menswear, you can actually target through email marketing to your existing customers, so that you don't need to invest on marketing to get the access of the same customer. So in that way, you can actually, through email marketing, you can actually get repeat purchases done. You can get more engagement done. Customer will feel that, okay, the brand is in touch with me, he's communicating, he's letting me know what are the new products coming in. All those kind of things you can do through email marketing. Create a sense of urgency. um, I would say another way of creating a FOMO, which is fear of missing out. So, you probably would see on different sites that only few stock left, or only two quantity left. Those kind of things, make sure that, there is not much stock available for this product. If you're really willing to buy, please click on buy now or add to cart and do the checkout. So those kind of urgency, those kind of thought process create urgency. In corporate upselling, I think in most of the cases we have seen in fashion and electronics. So when you buy mobile, you actually kind of buying mobile cases, Gorilla screen. So all those things were the part of upsell, especially on marketplaces. If you see, you go to Amazon, you go to Flipkart, you will see that there is this special pricing coming in when you're adding a product to the cart, or when you actually buying the products in group. So those kind of things actually help, and it helps in adding the product to the cart, and your average order value generally increase through this. Use recommendations. So when people use the product and they're happy about your brand, they're happy about your product, you should use those feedbacks, you should use those recommendations on your site, because that's give a sort of trust on the brand, and also gives an appearance that, okay, these many customers have already bought from you and are happy with the product. So not just recommendations, but reviews and ratings also helps. Install live chat. Live chat is a kind of an assistance that you get when you're visiting a mall, for example, and you get a store manager helping you out if you have any doubts, or if you have any issues finding the right size, maybe finding the right color, or maybe you want, since we are into omni-channel era, you want to choose the product, but you want this product to be delivered to your home. So those kind of things actually can be done through live chat, and you should have that enabled on your site so that people can actually use whenever they find any issue. The other thing is, when you think about your web store, you need to think as if this is your store where people are coming, and this your products are getting discovered through it. So you need to think about the experiences, you need to think about the integrations that you have, you need to think about the layout which is required to have. For example, when you go to a store, there are mannequins who are wearing probably discounted products or best-selling items. So you need to think on those lines. If you are into grocery or food items, how the supermarkets are, you need to think on those lines, like there are some bundled products, there are discount of the day, those kind of things needs to be implemented on the site. That's important as well. Your web store experience differs from category to category. You cannot have same experience for all the categories. So again, the category structures also depend on the product catalog that you have. If it is if you are into a single category, for a vertical category, for example, only fashion, if you are into a horizontal play, for example, fashion plus home furnishing plus food and grocery, you need to think on those lines, how you want to build your site. So site building, that means your web store building, is an important factor, and that only comes into play when you think about the product line, and whether it is vertical or horizontal, and accordingly you want to provide the experience. Marketplaces, largely this is another channel which people when you're selling on online, you explore and you want to be visible, because there's a lot of traffic coming from marketplaces and a lot of conversion happens. You need to understand the structure or the model where on which marketplaces works. So for example, marketplaces largely works into three models, and they have different marketplaces. So Nykaa, Myntra are the vertical marketplaces. For example, Nykaa is for fashion, Myntra is for fashion, but Nykaa is for skincare and beauty products. Nykaa fashion is into fashion. When we talk about horizontal play, then Amazon, Flipkart are the horizontal marketplaces. Now, how these model works? Marketplaces largely works on three models. One is outright purchase, SOR, and dropshipping model. So outright purchase is when marketplace buying your product inventory from you in bulk and providing same day delivery or any sort of strategic experience to the customers. The second thing is SOR model, where they're not buying your inventory, but they're keeping your inventory in their warehouses, which is stock on return. And whatever sales are happen, you will get the reconciliation done basis on that, and whatever stocks are not sold will come back to you. Third one is drop shipping. You can also say just in time, JIT model, where you're getting the orders. Marketplace is actually helping you getting the orders, and then you are delivering, dispatching those orders from your own warehouse. So you need to understand what model you can work at, what is the feasibility. You need to also, when you think about marketplaces, you need to think about how many products do you have. If you have 10 SKUs, does it make sense to go on marketplaces? If you do not have in-depth inventory, does it make sense to go on marketplaces? Those things are also very crucial when you think about marketplaces. The other part to it is you need to follow the standards of the marketplaces. For example, if it is fashion, then what are the different angles they are asking for the products, all those things. So coming back to what all things are required to have a marketplace in place, select marketplaces that match to your product category. So if you are fashion, obviously you will go to Amazon, Flipkart, Myntra, Nykaa. If you're selling groceries, you would like to be the part of Grofers, Big Basket, Amazon Fresh, Flipkart. You want to be the part of Zomato, Swiggy. So do you have the access of those things? You need to select marketplaces according to what category you are in. Understand the promotional plans and use it. So marketplace, since marketplace works into different models, you need to understand what are the different promotions they are running and how can you be the part of those promotions. Very important to it. Suppose if they're running 50% discount, you need to understand, can your product be the part of that promotion, or can you afford 50% discount, or your pricing strategy is something similar to what where you can afford 50% discount, or do you have inventory of those products? So those things you need to think about. Focus on fulfillment strategies and plan. If it is fashion, obviously you can look at this drop shipping model. But if you are fresh products or maybe groceries, then you need to be available a sort of hyper local, so that same day delivery or delivery within few hours can be enabled. So you need to think on those fulfillment plans and act accordingly. Better space for your inventory. This means you need more visibility. That means you need to have more inventory, more number of SKUs, so that when a person is going into some landing page of a product category, your product comes into that product showcase. If there are less number of products, it is it is less chance that you will get any visibility there. Faster product delivery. If you're suppose you're buying something and the other site is saying we'll take 15 days to deliver, you'll probably think of not buying it and will look into another option where you can get same day, next day, 3-day delivery or something like that, because that's the habit we got from after buying from these marketplaces, and that's kind of experience you want even your customers to get from your brand. That's another thing. Try to get reviews and ratings from the product sold on the marketplace. you need to know how the reviews are, how the customers are reacting to a product, because these reviews and ratings helps in other customer to decide whether they should buy the product or not. Work on value-based pricing strategy. You should not just working on the discounting factor only. You should also see the value when you're creating some pricing around to it. So for example, if there's a product of 500 rupees and you're making an MRP of 2000 rupees and giving 75% discount, that doesn't work, because in today's world, consumer is very smart. They exactly know what the price they should buy a product. So instead of doing that, even if you're saying, okay, 500 rupees and I'm giving you probably 10% or 20% discount, it's still okay. So you need to see whether you're working on a value-based pricing or just working on the discounting strategy randomly. Craft comprehensive and creative product description. So e-commerce is all about product content, product images. So here you need to create creative. So creative product description means when I'm a customer and I'm going to a product page and looking at the product description, I can relate myself to using the product. So those kind of product description has to be there, where a normal person can correlate. It should not be very technical. It should be casual. For example, this product is good for party purposes. So all those important factors are important. Choose suitable marketplace listing software. You can use a software which actually gives you a feasibility of managing your inventory in order at one go. Create fantastic product combo offers. So maybe if your product ranges on a smaller front, for example, if the product is of 100 rupees, maybe you can create combos so that your average order value will increase. Play with product attributes so that people will know what kind of colors, what kind of sizes are available in fashion, for example. So the attributes, the feature part of the product should also be highlighted. Choose the right keywords and improve customer service. So if a customer is actually complaining about a product, you should actually look into it, see how you can resolve those issues. That's all about it. I think when all these things are important, and is important to know when you think about when you think about creating your product line, you need to think about those things, because these things are critical, these things are important, these things gives you more more idea about how you should actually create your pricing strategy around what kind of products you can create. So for example, fashion and electronics are the fast selling category, but due to COVID, we also have kirana and grocery stores coming up. So those kind of things you can think of while creating a product line. That's about it. So Vijaya.
I think one is, thank you so much for walking us through, a lot of the things which are so very essential to bear in mind, when it comes to, the whole navigating the world of e-commerce. Sure. I'm just going to go back to, possibly some of the questions that typically pop up in a lot of the minds of, the kind of organizations we work with, which are largely nonprofit organizations. And while I ask a few of those questions, I would just like, for those of you who are attending, if you have questions, please quickly put them in the chat box. Shruti, one of the things that did come up was that for organizations to be onboarded onto platforms, any sort of B2C platform, you need a GST number. Now, so I'll also talk about where a lot of nonprofits are, right? A lot of nonprofit organizations are not traditionally entrepreneurs, nor do they have entrepreneurial mindsets. Now, most of them have organizations, they're registered as societies, charitable, public charitable trust, Section 8 not-for-profit, and most of them have So there's one category of organizations who are like this, who largely use B2C, who largely use their merchandise to kind of, it doesn't generate like huge amount of sales revenue and things like that. But they've largely used it, whether that's been on a foundation day or you have the festival season, and you have corporates who say that, okay, we want to have pop-up stores and so on. They're also bound by certain guidelines that should the income exceed a certain amount, then you'll have to kind of register it separately because there are tax complications. Yeah. So I'll kind of keep those kind of organizations a little bit on the side because I'm not fully sure. And so that's why they would not have a GST number, right? Because sort of the kind of volume of sales and revenue generation is not significantly high. And like I said, the purpose is to kind of just, you have an event, you want to, it goes around that. Then you have organizations who do have, who are looking at sort of, whether it is through women's self-help groups or on their part, they have kind of built product lines and they establish, they look to establish market linkages. Now, these products could be anything from, quilts to candles to any other kind of sort of merchandise which has utility, may not, as you mentioned, like rightly mentioned, may not be fashion brands, but you do have a lot of such organizations. And I do know that Shopmatic also has organizations, entrepreneurs coming in from hill regions where they've had organic line of products and so on. My first question, therefore, to you is, which sort of organization and at what sort of revenue generation potential do they see which should actually make them look to get onto any sort of B2C platform, right? Because will it make, again, like I said, the reason to get onto a B2C platform you need to be at that sort of growth point or that inflection point, or you're able to forecast that you have this much volume of sales volume and in revenue that you can generate. Otherwise, organizations will just, for smaller bits, they can just make do with payment gateways on their websites and manage. So I would first like for you to field this question for me.
So I think it all depends on what is the objective of selling online. Do you just want to sell to the consumer? Do you want to grow this business further and prepare the things accordingly? For example, if you do not have GST registration, you can't sell on marketplaces, right? So that means you will use chat commerce, social commerce, Webstore, and not largely marketplaces. Then in that case, you will need to do a lot of things to get the discovery. Even you are on social, it's your page, right? And it's the same thing that you have your web store, like people who are browsing, they're coming to your web store. It's the same way on Facebook. It's just that there's traffic, some of the traffic might divert to your site if there's relevant content, relevant hashtags, relevant searches, etc. So discovery is something which gets difficult and will take time. Now, another question is, do you have patience to hold on to the level where you get the discovery and you get some visibility so that you get some traction? Most of the people doesn't have. So most of the people just say, no, for me, e-commerce doesn't work. Ye kaam nahi kiya, But you have to see how much effort you have put in to, build that business. What I believe is, if you want to do something, you should actually be fully onboarded to do that. Even if you want to take the baby steps, you should be ready in the back end somewhere to make sure that, your product are good. And I think this is a reason we are having this conversation and we're having this session, so that people have a better understanding and they should know what works in the market. Ultimately, the overall objective is to get the registration GST done, to run through that number which makes sense, to be profitable on marketplace side, to generate some revenue from those grounds. Like,
so I hear you, Shruti, and I do agree, because people, in applying a very different analogy, when I look at, say, crowdfunding, right? People think that if I just get on board a crowdfunding platform, the money is just going to come. It's not going to come like that. The donations are not going to come in. I think any sort of raising money from society at large, whether it is a fundraising route where you use retail fundraising through crowdfunding, or you want to use, you want to go to individual customers and use B2C platform. I think the first key message is that there is a certain amount of pre-work that any organization will have to do. So I hear you, and I think the message that I would definitely give out to nonprofit organizations is that do it if you are willing to put in the time, effort, and a certain amount of resources. Because this is not a magic wand that it's just going to happen automatically overnight. Now, Shruti, we spoke about Facebook business and selling online, where Facebook allows you to do it, WhatsApp allows you to do it. How does that work? Do you also need to have GST numbers even out there? How does that work?
That's your own channel. In order to enable payment gateways, etc., you need GST as a thumb rule. So even for to enable your own logistic, you need that as well.
Okay.
Those are the basic thumb rules, because your business has to be registered. So those kind of things are anyway there. Whether you use Facebook, whether you use chat, whether you use marketplaces, maybe you can think of taking a baby step, not getting the registration done and selling through your own store, having COD enabled, using your own logistic provider. That's okay. I'm not saying that's not okay, but somewhere down the line in your mind you should be ready to evolve from this thought process and come to that level where you think this is a sustainable business. It's not something that you're doing for part-time or just want to see what kind of results it will come. Because, even if you have a child and you're not putting too much effort, you can't expect too much coming out from your own child. You need to put all possible efforts, So your business is like your own baby, you will get how much you're putting. So you need to think on those grounds.
So again, Shruti, and since you're not too much of a stranger to mindsets, especially with social change or social purpose organizations, like I said, I think the entrepreneurial mindset for organizations themselves is hard to bring in, and I know that from the time, since I manage both Toolbox and Social Lens, the lens which I have to wear is very, very different with respect to both organizations. Now, a lot of nonprofits organizations, I think, are doing fantastic work when it comes to driving SHG or, creating women entrepreneurs and so on. And definitely, I feel platforms like Shopmatic can really support those kind of initiatives where you have women's collectives, of course, subject to registrations and all of it. But really, we say the other thing that I wanted to pick up was when you said that, know your customer, right? Now, when we are looking at social organizations, I think what really connects us to the product is not really the product per se. It is really the organization and the cause, right? So whether it is, and one of my favorite examples, the Jai Vakil Center for children with who are differently abled. They have their product store, and over the years they've gone on to create beautiful product line, and a lot of us therefore just end up buying a lot of their products through the course of for Diwali and so on. I think the product becomes secondary. You're just so connected to the cause. What would your advice be to organizations there? Because you don't know who your customer is. It could be Shruti, it could be Vijaya, it could be Anushka, it could be just about anybody, right?
Yeah.
And how do marketplaces, do they allow for that sort of connect?
No, not really. You're absolutely right that cause is important when we talk about non-profit organizations. And if you see today, even customers are interested to buy from a store where there is some genuine cause, aligned to it. So, for example, I am buying from a store where 60% of the revenue goes to a community which provides livelihood or something. That's a cause for me, right? As a layman, as a common man, I'll think I have done something to my society, something better from my side. And I think in today's world, consumer is aware of those things. Customer is every customer is aware of those things. Now the beauty of these things are how you are actually marketing these things. How, when you're creating your web store, is that messaging available? Is the cause available on the site for the people to see? Are you promoting that on or posting that on your social media platforms? Or you are actually informing and engaging with the connects that you have through WhatsApp? So those are the important factors. It's all about marketing, and it's all about awareness. I think the cause of the NGOs is all about awareness, right? And so and it's no different even in online business. If your cause is important, along with cause, in fact, if your product is good, you will get repeat purchases. For example, if your cause is important, but your product is just one time sell, you probably not get more engagement and you probably not get more customers, because if the product is just one time use, or you don't, if for example, if in my life I bought one product and I don't need that product again, then I'm not an ideal or it's not an ideal product largely. You should have, and every time you will put a lot of money in order to get marketing, in order to get new customers, etc. So how do I optimize that? So you need to think of the product line which has repeat purchases, where the customer or the engagement is actually happening every now and then, so that I only need to market. I'll tell you a very small thing to provide a suitable customer experience, I would say. If you suppose you are into Ayurveda products, skincare, just take that example because that's something we can drive through this segment. So if there is this face cream, and while creating the product line, if you're also creating some sample products which you can send while dispatching the product to your customer, and just say, hey, why don't you try this product also? Or maybe whenever the new products are coming in, you're actually dispatching it with your packet to your customer, so that they can experience the new product, but just a small piece as a sample product. So that way you also, and if the product is good, the customer is actually coming and buying the original product from you. So those kind of engagement I'm talking, that helps you get more repeat purchases.
Shruti, one last question, because I think, and again, going back, veering to the whole thing about the cause, right? Now, what connects a lot of people to organizations, social organizations, is the cause. And you said, messaging is important. And somewhere, if we're able to do the storytelling, right, about why this product, you spoke about the skincare product, right, Ayurvedic products. In my head, I'm just thinking, what if there's a women's collective in the hills of Uttarakhand or Himachal Pradesh? And, we have the story about these group of women, who actually I have worked to bring this product to life. And in buying so, we're actually, providing a purpose to their lives, to their livelihoods, and so on. I think those kind of messaging, those kind of storytelling, that kind of storyboarding as part of campaigns will definitely get online customers, potential customers, more connected, even if they don't know the organization. Because typically what works is, I know the organization, I put it up in my society buildings, WhatsApp group, and so on. But this is this thing. So from purely selfish reasons, for all my nonprofit partners, I'm asking, does Shopmatics product template allow for those kind of storyboardings?
You can do, it's like, what format do you want? Is it a video? Is it more like the
video and content on the...
Yeah, you can do that.
All right. Thank you very much, Shruti Agarwal, for giving us your time and opening the conversations around what social commerce is about. I think the takeaways for all our nonprofit organizations is that there is hard work. Whatever you do, it will still take hard work, which is what even the crowdfunding guys told us.
Yeah.
And two, it is something that organizations should definitely, sort of exploring as digital marketplaces really are the present. It's not the future; they're already here. And I do hope to bring you back for more such conversations. So from everybody here at Toolbox and the Social Lens team, and I see a few familiar faces. I see Geeta, I see Ravi. On behalf of all of them, thank you very much. And thank you, Shopmatic.
Thanks, Vijaya. Thanks for having me here. And it's a great honor to be the part of this session and discuss about digital.
Thank you.